Well, hello everyone, and welcome. Boy, we are starting right on time today. How about that? 1 o'clock Central Time, and it is 2 Eastern. So I'm in Nashville, and I always try and let people know that it's 2 o'clock Eastern. I have no idea who's in what time zones, who happens to be on my email list, but it's easier to kind of go by Eastern more or less, even though I'm Central Time. So hello and welcome. We've got a small group here today as per usual, which is completely fine with me. My name is Doug Diamond, and I am a music licensing and music supervisor, music licensing pro and music supervisor, and I own and operate a company based out of Nashville called Diamondisc Audio. And what I do, I've been in business since 1996 is when I first opened my doors. And primarily I'm doing mastering and mixing. Been working in the recording industry for many, many years, since my days at Ocean Way Recording in Los Angeles back in the early 90s. I went to the Grove School of Music for recording engineering. I did their recording engineering program. It was a year-long program in Los Angeles, and I straight away got a job out of there right at Ocean Way Recording, which is still, even today, one of the top recording studios in the world. So I was honored and privileged to have gotten to work there for a while. I stayed there for about 3 years. Entry-level position known as a runner, quote unquote, which is basically a glorified gopher. Cleaning up the lounges and going to get people's lunches and dinners and making coffee and things like that. But in that process, it's good because it lets you get to know the ropes, and it lets you see how studios are run, and you get to meet some unbelievably cool people. And I did in my Ocean Way days, and I'm still friends with some of those people even now. And the idea was you start as a runner, which is, like I said, kind of a gopher. And after that, you just kind of keep working. If you do a good job, people do take notice. And eventually you can start going into the sessions when you're asked to and help. And it could be anything from doing helping to check the microphones, set up the microphones, set up the headphone cue system, if it's a big orchestra or something coming in to record. I got to do all that stuff, and I got to be assistant engineer on a number of pretty big projects, including, the first album credit I ever had my name on was Natalie Cole's Unforgettable. So for me, that was unforgettable. That was a pretty good and very cool first experience. If you look at the album credits for Natalie Cole's Unforgettable, you will see my name on there listed under the studio folks, and there are a lot of them. So that was fun, and I did some other assistant engineering gigs after that for some other albums and some television commercials and films and things like that, Disney films and Levi's commercials. And I've got a bunch of stuff on my About page on my website, which you're seeing there on your screen, diamondiscaudio.com, or if you can't remember that, it's actually in the corner, in the upper left corner, diamondiscaudio.com. You can also go to dougdiamond.com, and that is the same exact site. So hello and welcome. I've been involved in music for pretty much my whole life. I was in a band back in high school and went to LA, like I said, and then after my LA days, I moved to Nashville, and I've been there ever since. I've been in Nashville since 1993 is when I moved here, and I got a job right away as a mastering engineer at a little place here that's now out of business. But I got to do that for a while and meet some really cool people and kind of hang out a shingle, and started Diamondisc Audio in 1996. And I bet if you know anybody who's been in business since 1996 or so, and you go and you ask them, how many times since 1996, however many years that is, was it 25 years, How many times have you had to raise your prices? I bet most people would say a bunch. Well, guess what? In 1996, when I started Diamondisc Audio, I came out with mastering packages, which at the time, no one else was doing mastering packages, and no one else was pricing mastering per song. $30 a song is what I was doing for my main mastering package D like Diamond. If you ask them how many times have you raised your prices, most people are going to say quite a few times. I've never raised my prices for mastering, ever. They've always remained the same since 1996. So you're actually going back in time and getting 1996 prices when you hire me to do your mastering for you. And that's because I have low overhead, and I know what I'm doing. I try and get it right the first time. And I've had a lot of people say how much they love my mastering, and they will refer me to other people and become return clients on their own. And which is great for me because that means I really don't have to advertise. I go word of mouth, and I don't spend a lot of money advertising and things. I built my own website. So what you see at diamondiscaudio.com is that's the newer site that's only been there for about 4 months or so. But I do my own computer and marketing and tech stuff. So I'm able to save some money that way, and always have been able to. So it's pretty neat. I think it's a very unique situation that that I haven't had to raise my prices. I've obviously my costs have gone up. I've absorbed the costs myself. So just know that you're getting a really good deal when you go hire me as your mastering engineer and mix engineer. I do a lot of mixing too for people. Actually, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for some here, even in the live stream today that we're going to talk about. So I do mixing. That's, if you don't know, that's when, which you guys probably will, but not everybody does. That's when you have your individual tracks that you have recorded at your recording studio or the place where you go, whether it's your own home studio or a local studio nearby, or maybe you travel to a recording studio, and you come out of that studio with your tracks, your vocals, your guitar tracks, your drum tracks, your keyboard tracks, your bass tracks, you name it, and you send those tracks to me, and I will take those and make the best mix that I can possibly make. And in the process, I will send you a rough mix, and you can make changes and suggest changes, and I'll go back and tweak things, and we kind of go back and forth maybe once or twice, usually not very long, and I will give you the final mix and then master that for you as well. That mastering is included in the mixing price. So that's kind of how I work things. I try and be a very easy person to work with. And I have a lot of repeat clients. So again, I'm saving money on marketing. I don't have to put forth a lot of money doing marketing. I did early on, but these days I don't really anymore. And in 2010 through 2012, I went back to school and started working. I worked through the program at Berkeley Online, and did the music business master certification. So I have my master certification from Berkeley in music business. One of those classes that I took in that time there, those 2 years that I spent with Berkeley Online, one of those classes was music supervision, and that's when I really got into realizing how much that music supervision, I was kind of doing sort of the creative aspect of it already, and I got into, okay, how can I do this as part of my, as part of the hats, the different hats that I wear. I love mastering and I love mixing and the production side, but how can I help some of the artists that come in to see me as far as sending their mastering work to me? How can I help some of those artists get their music placed in different places, like maybe a video game, or maybe a TV show, or a film, like an independent film, or a web trailer, or a book trailer, or a commercial, TV commercial, or a web commercial. So there's all kinds of different avenues. There's different ways that you can hopefully generate some income as an artist and a songwriter these days. And as you guys know, playing live right now is pretty few and far between. If you're able to do it at all, chances are it's probably not very much. And most people who are making their living at doing that have had to either take other jobs or look at other ways to make income. So that's where I feel like sync licensing can really come in and help. But it doesn't help everybody because not everyone is at the level where they're really ready for it. And that's why we're here today. We're going to talk about some songs that people have paid a little bit of money. They paid $30 to submit, and we're going to go through them today on the broadcast. And I'm going to try and give the people who submitted the songs, I'm going to try and give them some tips and some things that they can do, if anything, for their song, and maybe steer them in the right direction on where they may be able to submit their songs, and then hopefully, get it pitched, and then even more hopefully, get it placed. And that's our goal, is to get placements. And placements are tough. Competition is pretty fierce actually on most things. Some more than others. Certainly very, very competitive. It's very hard to get your songs in a TV show or a film because those places are fewer and far between. Whereas maybe retail rotation could be a good stepping stone for you. Maybe getting your song on satellite radio would be a big, boost to your career. Maybe having your song used in a video game that's given away for free. Maybe the video game is given away for free, but you have your song in there. And you as an artist or a band can say, hey, my stuff's getting used, and use that in your bio. Use that in your resume, as it were, and put that out there. And just let people know that your songs are good enough that they're being picked up and used in various projects. So that's what we're here today to talk about is music licensing and placement and music supervision to some degree. I'll try and give you some insights as a music supervisor, what I happen to look for when I'm listening to submissions that come in. I do the day-to-day work with and run Music Ops. Here's the website, Music Ops, OPPS, that stands for opportunities. MusicOps.com, you'll see it in the upper right corner of your screen. And what we do at Music Ops, I run the day-to-day, but basically we get submissions that come in and we consider them for different placement opportunities that we have. The unique thing about Music Ops that I've never heard anyone else do, to me, and one of the reasons that I wanted to work with Music Ops, I don't own Music Ops, I help run the day-to-day, but the folks that founded it asked me to come on board and run the day-to-day, so that's what I do. I do primarily the listening and much of the pitching, and some of the owners do some of the other pitching and things as well. So what we do is when submissions come in, we listen to the songs. If we don't feel like it's anything we can use, we will write you back and let you know that, and here's what you can do maybe to get a little bit better foothold on what we feel like you need to do so that we can get you a pitch and maybe a placement at some point. So we'll write you back with some tips and things like that. If we feel like your submission is not one we can use, if you submit a song and we like it and we want to pitch it, it could be that we don't even pitch it for the thing you submitted it for because maybe we don't feel like it's a really great fit for that particular opportunity. For instance, what we're looking at here is a brand new opportunity just posted on Music Ops a day or two ago called International Retail Rotation. You can go to musicops.com and read through that if you're interested. It's a good way for independent artists to be able to be up there right with the big boys in some of these retail locations where you'll have big major label artists playing their song. I mean, their songs are getting played right next to your songs. So, there aren't very many companies that can offer the type of placements that Music Ops does, especially for beginners who haven't had any experience with sync licensing or placements. So I feel like it's a really good starting point. And what I was starting to say is one of the things that I really like about Music Ops is that if you submit your song, we will consider it for any of our open opportunities. And even if you submit the song for International Retail Rotation and we say, okay, well, we think it's really great, but we would like to pitch it for this other thing, we will let you know that. And we will pitch it for that and hopefully at some point get a placement for you. That's our goal. And so just know that, we have different opportunities on there. You'll see along the right-hand side of the screen, it says all opportunities, and then they're categorized: music videos, film, radio, TV licensing, and video games, and so forth. So you can go through there, and I would recommend just starting with the All Opportunities page and click on that and see what all we have to offer as far as what we're pitching and what we're trying to place. And they all of the creative briefs for each and every opportunity will detail the style of music that our client is looking for. So you can go off of that based on what you submit. And then along the top menu there, you'll see success stories. Definitely check success stories, because that's one of those things where, you know, you can blindly send your stuff, but if it doesn't really, if the quality is not there, then we're going to have a tough time being able to pitch it, let alone place it. So definitely check out the success stories page. Those are, that's not all of our success stories. Those are just selected, hand-picked success stories that we feel people need to know about, and it's songs that, maybe it's a hip-hop song, or maybe it's a pop song, or maybe it's a country song, or whatever. And this is the song. This is what it sounds like. You can go there and listen to it, and this is the opportunity it was pitched for. So I feel like the success stories page is also something you should definitely check out if you go to musicops.com. If you are already a BroadJam member, you can pull up broadjam.com/premium-pitches, kind of a longer URL. It's in the bottom left corner of your screen. And many of the opportunities that are on MusicOps are also on BroadJam. We have a Spotify playlist placement opportunity, Apple Music playlist, top-tier retail establishment, which is similar to the international one that you saw on MusicOps, although it is different, but it's a similar style as far as what they're looking for. Right now we're looking for music for NBA games, so we pitch to the folks that supply music for Fox Sports and NBC Sports and CBS Sports and the different NBA games and so forth. We have some libraries that we pitch to: Global Music Production Catalog, Commercial Library, and Advertising Placements. We pitch to SiriusXM. We pitch to, we also have another sports one here. We do a lot of sports pitches. We pitch to, right now we're also pitching for the NHL playoffs and Stanley Cup Finals, which I'm a hockey fan, so I kind of dig that one. But anyways, so BroadJam does have a listing of quite a few of the same or very similar opportunities that are on MusicOps. However, there are a few that are different. And just know that it's the same team of people listening, whether you submit on musicops.com or on BroadJam. Same team of people doing the listening, doing the reviewing and pitching, and hopefully placing. So, the MusicOps website is your main way in as far as being able to submit songs, your main portal. If you're a BroadJam member, feel free to submit there. I know many people are, and BroadJam's a great community of independent musicians and singers and bands and all kinds of really great folks at BroadJam, including the people that run it. So we've had a long time partnership with BroadJam and love those guys as well. So feel free to go there to submit if you want. And as far as my website goes, diamondiscaudio.com, that is, if you go there, you will see primarily information about mastering. If you go here under services, you will see mastering, mixing, video production, web development, graphic design, and duplication, some of the different things that I do. But one of the other things is on this page here, diamondiscaudio.com/sync, SYNC. If you go to that page, it's about the sync licensing, and you'll see a video playlist of all of the past webinars that I've done, including the Q&A licensing tips sessions. They're on there as well, and these are actually playlists. These aren't just one single videos. You can click on these and get quite a bit of education just going down through the different videos, because we've talked about all kinds of different things in our Q&As that we do monthly, from contracts to PROs to publishing to production to different agreements that you might use as a studio owner, things like that. And then under all of those videos, you'll see a long list of, I should say a partial list of some of the placement successes that I've had as a music supervisor and also running the day-to-day with MusicOps. So there you go. So with that, I guess we can jump on into the first submission. Now, today we have had really not that many submissions, and it's interesting because that happened last month as well. And I'm still a little bit curious as to what exactly is going on. I know that it's spring. Spring has sprung, and some of the jail cells are being opened up. Some of the lockdowns are being dropped a little bit, depending on what state you're in. So people are getting out and about, and they're going and doing life, which is great. What that means for me and for our last Sunday of the month live stream is that we haven't had very many submissions lately. Really starting in March. I think I did 4 last month, and this month is no different. We're actually only doing 4 again, and we had 2 that just came in today. So that kind of tells me that we might be running to the end of our time doing these live streams, because it's now happened 2 months in a row where I've gotten really almost no submissions. And the 4 that have submitted, thank you very much for doing so, and we will certainly go through your songs in great detail today. So if you're here and you're going to have your song reviewed today and you haven't already, please say hi in chat. Tom's here. Hey, Tom. And Mick is here with the silvers. Hello, Mick. Kella Parker, hello there. And yeah, thanks for doing this. You're welcome. And Promil is here. Hello. So I think almost everybody's here. I think we had one more. That was, let's see, who was that? It just came in. Oh, that was John. John, if you're here, let me know too. Sometimes he can't make it though. But what I was saying was that we're going to do our session today, and I'll spend as much time as needed to go through each song in great detail. However, I'm going to re-examine it after we've finished up, really between now and next month, and see if we really want to continue. And it's not like I will never do live streams again. I'm not really even saying that. It's just that, if it's not something that's needed, if people are either looking at the archives and gleaning good information from those, or they're just off doing other things and they're not really concerned about sync licensing and that aspect of their career, that's a whole other thing. I don't want to keep spending time doing live streams if people aren't going to take advantage of it. So what we could do is to go to, instead of a monthly meeting, we could maybe do a quarterly or something like that, where we do 8 or 10 songs. So I really like to do, a good variety of tunes with all different progress levels, because, some people are really just starting out, other people are seasoned veterans, and you'll hear that as we listen to some songs today. So just know that I am reevaluating kind of where we're at with the whole live stream thing, and if it is possible that this one today will be the last one for a while. Again, I won't say that it'll never happen again, but I don't want to keep doing it if people aren't going to take advantage of it. And I haven't figured out a way to do it to where I don't have either almost no submissions or hundreds of submissions. So if I opened it up, and I'm open to suggestions, you guys, feel free to email me, doug@musicops.com, or doug@diamondiscaudio.com. I'm open to suggestions. So, if I said it's free to everybody who wants to submit, I would literally get hundreds of submissions. So then I would have to just pick and choose. And I don't really want to do that because I don't want to leave people out in the cold, and not choose their song. And on the other hand, that's not really fair to you guys who've paid to be here today. So I don't really want to do that. I like the system that we have in place. And I feel like if people aren't going to take advantage of it, that kind of sends me the message that maybe I need to find other ways to do this. So what I'm leaning towards, and I don't mean to be too long-winded here, I've talked for 20 minutes. What I'm leaning towards doing is, instead of doing a live stream each month, I may do one like quarterly, or maybe like two a year or something. And otherwise, if you're interested in having me help you in your sync licensing and placement endeavors, I can give you a one-on-one consult for the same $30. So in other words, you could hire me and we could have a phone call or a Skype call or a Zoom meeting or whatever, and listen to your song or songs and do as much as we can and just talk for a little while, and I could give you some pointers. And so that's another option. That's kind of the way I'm leaning right now, is to do it more of as a consult or a consultation For the same $30, I mean, I'm not going to raise the prices. Unless you need several hours of my time, it probably would be more. But, for the basic meeting and listen to a song or so and give you some good pointers and tips, I feel like $30 is a really good, reasonable cost for you. You can consider it an investment in your business because you have to treat your music writing and your production and, putting out your stuff as a business. Hopefully you already do. So, just treat it as a way of being able to learn more and to be able to then take your music to the next level, whatever that is. So just know I am available for private consultations. We could do the same fee, and I'm happy to do that, and I'm really leaning towards doing that versus the monthly live streams because as you guys may or may not know who have ever done live streams, it could be quite a bit of work, and it requires quite a few hours of my time that I really don't have, honestly. But I like doing it because it's fun for me, and it helps you guys. So that's what I'm really about. I'm glad that you guys that are here. So it says we've got 9 people watching right now. That's great. So let me see who is in chat. Love hearing about you, Doug. Okay, thanks, Pramila. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks for doing this seminar. We've used Doug, and he's very reasonable and very great quality. Okay. Yeah, that's Mick, and I was going to mention that. We'll talk about Mick some more in just a minute when we get to his song. The Real Ranu. Oh, hi, Ron. Yeah, The Real Ranu or Ranu. Hey there. Yeah, I remember your tune from the other day. I just remember hearing that when we were trading emails just a few days ago. And John is here. Okay, good. Well, we can get started, and my apologies for being so long-winded here. I just wanted to kind of get everything out up front so that you guys knew where I was coming from. And then if you don't get the emails or don't get the links next month, you'll know why. And again, it's not really anything other than I need to make sure that I'm most efficiently using my time. And if it's not needed in these live streams, then I need to figure out something different to do. So just know that I am available, and you can reach out to me through email. That's probably the easiest and best way to communicate with me. You guys all have my email address. So just do that. You can reach me through my website. That's probably the easiest thing, diamondiscaudio.com. There's actually a contact page and also a contact form on that site. So let's get started here. We've got Tom's song. He's been very patiently waiting. So let's listen to Forget Me, Forget Me Not. And what I'll do is, what I like to do on these submissions is that I will play the song in its entirety, and then we will talk about it afterwards. So let's listen to Tom's tune. Let me refresh and hopefully get rid of any commercials. Doesn't always work, but it's worth a try. So here we go. Forget Me, Forget Me Not.
Never meant to, didn't mean to make you cry, was afraid you'd say goodbye. When you told me you were leaving me, when you turned and walked away, the sky turned dark and gray. Forget me not. Forget me not, forget me. Things are better off this way. Forgive me not, forgive me. That's all I got, forgive me. Is there something I could say? If I told you that I miss you, is there something I could do to make it up to you? And if I told you I still love you, would that change your mind? Could we turn back time? Forget me not forget me. Things are better off this way. Forgive me now, forgive me. It's all I got, forgive me. Is there something I could say to make you wanna stay with me?
Tom. Nice work. I enjoyed that. That was a really cool track. And I would say that was sort of unexpected. I had not listened to this prior to your sending it. So that's the first time I've heard it. It says rock, and it says 3 years ago that you posted it. But, you know, I've listened to some of your other tracks, and they tend to have been more, I guess, country or country rock feel and more instrumental, if I remember right. Not really with vocals very often, if at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like this may be the first one that I've heard of yours with vocals, and I thought it was really good. So let me know in chat, Tom, if you are singing or if that's someone else. Promila says, very heartfelt. Yeah, yep. Let's see. I love this, very well written and produced. Yep, it is. The harmonies are on point. I can see this in a movie or a TV show. Ranu says, gives me 80s retro vibe. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it has a little bit of an 80s feel. I would entitle it Anything for Your Love. Yeah, it does kind of remind me of that song a little. John says, nice song and writing. Sounds like something John Waite should sing. Yes, it does. Absolutely. I agree with all you guys. Yeah, and actually what Ron said here was, I think, spot on. I was really envisioning this song more in a, like in a film. Tom says it's someone else singing. Okay, so Tom, I do know, is an excellent guitar player, and I'm sure that's probably, let me know, Tom, is that you playing guitars, doing the solos and everything? My guess is it is, because it was really, really well done. The instrumental aspect of it, just by itself, I thought was really good. And, you know, you guys that have listened to me before on these live streams know that one of the things I always tell people is make sure you have an instrumental version of your song ready to go too, because if I can pitch the song for you and somebody like a client is interested in using it, the first thing they ask for usually is an instrumental, especially if there's picture involved. In other words, if it's not just like a radio type thing, they wouldn't then. But you know, if it's being pitched for a film, they almost always will want the instrumental because it gives them another way to use the song that's not stepping all over the dialogue in the film. So in that whatever scene that they're using the song in, so it's very important to have your instrumental ready to go for those of you who like to save a couple bucks and not have your instrumental mastered versus your fully produced with vocal version, I would suggest having at least some sort of mastering done on your instrumental so that it's not drastically different sounding than your full mix with vocals, because I've run into that before, where situations will be like, the song with vocals gets picked up because it sounds incredible, and then the client wants the instrumental version as well, and then we send it to them, and it's like, wow, it sounds completely different because it wasn't mastered. So just know that having an instrumental available and have it mastered too that's always a very important thing to do, in my opinion. But it depends on what you're pitching it for. If you're not really concerned about or trying to get it in something with visuals, it's probably not that big a deal. If you're primarily writing songs and trying to submit to things like radio and retail and things like that, it wouldn't really matter, because you're not going to need the instrumentals for things like that, really, almost never. So anyway, Tom's song, Forget Me, Forget Me Not, kind of puts me in mind of the old, I guess it's like the flower adage where you're picking off a petal. I think it's a really good song, and the vocals were well done. I think that what he has here is really one of those situations where I don't really feel like I can make any suggestions as far as making it better. I think that what you have here is really good. Let me see. Let me check the vocals again just to make sure. What we'll do is...
Nissan believes you deserve a...
We're still getting a lot of commercials here. What we'll do is I usually jump around and listen to some different parts of the songs and make comments on that. So we won't listen to the whole thing a second time, but we will jump around a little bit. So let's do that.
You never meant to. Didn't mean to make you cry. Was afraid you'd say goodbye when you told me.
But his voice is good. It's a little bit breathy, which I kind of like.
You can't forget me. Things are better off this way. Forgive me not. Forgive me. It's all I got for.
And it's mixed well. Things are in their proper place. The guitars and the rhythm section stuff and the vocals. Everything's kind of where it needs to be, I think.
Forgive. If I told you that I miss you, is there something I could do?
Now, I always talk about the tempo and the energy, because for me that's one of the real sticking points that people do not realize, at least with the clients that I pitch to. Almost everybody wants more up-tempo, high-energy type of songs. Now, that's not necessarily true with radio. Like if we're pitching songs to satellite radio, not that big a deal. I mean, tempo can vary dramatically, as you guys know, because you listen to the radio. You can have slow songs in there too. This is more of a slow song, more of a ballad. So I guess I probably would steer you towards maybe to libraries, but I really like this one for like a satellite radio situation. Probably first and foremost. I would say independent films would probably be my second choice, and then libraries either second or third choice. Libraries would be a good place to pitch this to, just because you never know. Libraries that work with, companies that produce TV ads and things like that. This song could work in a commercial if it was done right. It could certainly work in a film. I guess that's how I envision it the most, is in the right scene in a movie. So I guess, or maybe a TV show. I guess, that's probably one of those things where, in order to be able to access that, though, you probably need to be in a library, honestly, because ballads do have their place for sure. It's just that when I'm pitching songs to clients, whether it's sports TV or retail or most other TV type things, and even some libraries, they really like more upbeat songs. So that kind of limits you a little bit on this one, although I do feel like it's a really good song, and I think that it does and should have its place. So I would steer you toward retail, or to, not retail radio, but like satellite radio. I think that would be a good first choice for you, because it's one of those songs that can definitely stick with you. I like the chorus. I feel like the hook is really good.
Forget me now, forget me. Things are better off this way. Forgive me now, forgive me. It's all I got, forgive me. Is there something I could say?
Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of an 80s vibe, which I think is good. But it doesn't sound dated. You know, the production of it sounds modern. It doesn't sound like it was recorded in the 80s. It does have a little bit of a feel to it like that. But I think it could still work in some more modern context. It could certainly work in the right, independent film. I really, really like it in some sort of independent film situation, whether it's a love scene where somebody is being has just been left or whatever, and they're trying to understand it themselves, and you're hearing the song play in the background. To me, that's where this song would really work. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Let's see. I like the octave from the first. This is Mick saying, I like the octave from the first verse vocal to the second verse, an octave higher. Yeah, yep. That was pretty cool. The song is so good, I can see it. A woman cutting it too. Yeah, that's a good idea. I was actually thinking that too, Ron. The song could work with a female vocal. I don't know, kind of where you're at with it, Tom. It says you posted this 3 years ago, so I guess I don't know, maybe you don't have other recordings. Have you ever had a female vocalist? Because I think it could work. And that's one of those things where you might run into something like that if you were pitching it for a film and it's the female character who this song would most identify with. So in that case, you probably would need you could need a female vocalist singing it, because it would be more from the perspective of the female in the film. So that's possible. But I agree, Ron. That's a good point. And Kella Parker says, yeah, I agree on the octave jump in verse 2. It's nice variety. But it still feels similar. Yeah. And Mick says the solo is excellent. Yeah, let's listen to the guitar solo.
Make you wanna stay with me.
Yeah, that to me, that's one of those things that could give it a little bit of an 80s sense, because unfortunately, in today's music, you don't have really cool guitar solos like that really very often, if ever. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they've cut out guitar solos and things like that were staples in the 80s. On just about any song you hear, rock song anyway, there would be a guitar solo. But I think that's one of the things that might make this song seem a little bit 80s-ish, is because that guitar solo is in there. But it definitely works, and I feel like it could work in the context of, if it's got the visual with it, maybe the guitar solo works really well playing underneath whatever's happening on the screen. I really like the bridge too. And if you stay, I'll find a way. Let's find that.
I'll find, and if you stay, I'll find a way to make things better. If you should go, then you should know my love's forever.
Yeah, and then there's like another little short solo right there too. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I like the arrangement. It's pretty unique. I think it works really well, and overall, I think it's a really, really good submission. So Tom, good submission. Thank you for sending it. He says, good idea on the female vocal. Never thought of it. Yeah, and that's one of those things where don't spend a ton of money. Just know that is an option. That if you get it into a library, sometimes the library will say, "Hey, do you have a female vocal version?" Just in case the director or a producer asks for it. So sometimes it's good to have that kind of stuff ready to go. If you're talking about a situation which I think maybe you are in, Tom, and that is that you're the songwriter probably, and maybe the producer, and you're not necessarily out there promoting so-and-so as an artist or band trying to get their stuff licensed. It's more like having a really great song and trying to get the song out there, in which case, if it's a band, they have either usually a female or a lead vocalist. I mean, female or a male lead vocalist. However, in a situation like this, where it's maybe written more for a licensing type of placement, you want to cover all your bases. You definitely want to have the instrumental. I think in this case, you might want to have a female vocal version available, but it needs to be a really great female vocalist, not just sort of ho-hum. It needs to be really, really good. So just know that that's something that could come up, but it might be one of those things where you could cut a demo or something and see if it works, because maybe it doesn't. In that case, then you could say, well, no, I don't have a female vocal version of it, but here's the male vocal version. So just know that does often, that question will come up if and when the song is really considered for real for a film or a TV show. Anything with a visual where the character, if the song really fits the character, then usually the vocal will be of that same sexuality, whether it's a female character or a male. So it really just kind of depends on the placement, so you really have a 50-50 shot. You may never really need the female vocal, but you just never know. So it's an option. And know, too, that if you have a female vocal version, you could also pitch that for radio, and maybe it could get picked up, whereas the male one doesn't, for whatever reason. Who knows? So there you go. I think that was a really good first submission. Thanks, Tom. Let me know if you have any questions in chat. Let's see here. Ron says, let Tom's exchange info. I have female vocals for you. Okay, well, Ron, there you go. Tom, connect with Ron and see. And you guys, if you don't want to put your email addresses, I don't know if it'll let you actually with YouTube. I don't know if it'll let you put your email address in there, and you may not want to anyway. Feel free to email me, and I can hook you guys up. Doug@musicops.com, or just do my normal Doug@diamondiscaudio.com. You can reach me that way, and I can hook you guys up if you're interested, Tom, in talking to Ron about the female vocalist. So that might be a good thing. So let's move on. Good submission. Way to go. Second submission for today, we have, he's in chat, Mick. Mick is here, and let's listen to Have a Little Faith by the Silvers out of California. So here we go.
Have a little faith, keep up beating yourself around. There might be some pushback, but it's easy for it might sound. If at first you don't see manage what my words are all about. If at first you don't succeed, then you can try again and stand your ground.
Okay, Have a Little Faith by the Silvers. Good track, good track. Another little bit slower song, more mid-tempo, I guess. I always like their artwork. It looks like, it kind of reminds me of something from the 60s. I don't know why. But good track. I like it, Mick. Good job. Have a Little Faith. And I'd never heard this one before. I've been working with Mick on and off for a little while now, actually, with our last Sunday of the month live streams. But and he's a regular submitter on Broadjam and maybe Music Ops too. And lately he's hired me to do some mastering work for him as well as mixing. I've mixed one song for him, Stand Up, that we did, I don't know, back in February or so. Really cool song. And I ended up doing the mixing and mastering on that, and we did some vocal tuning and things like that. And really, I thought it turned out really well. And so I think we're going to do some more of that as we progress. Since then, I've mastered 4 more songs for him just this past week or so, maybe 10 days ago or so. And I guess he was happy with those. Those were ones that we couldn't really remix for various reasons, but they turned out really well too. So anyways, yeah, Mick has hired me to do some of these extra things, and I certainly appreciate that. And I think his stuff is getting better and better for sure. I saw Ron's comment here in the chat. Music is great, but the vocals need work, timing, pitch, and blighting, but I hear where it could be. Yeah, he said, and the Mick says it's the old lineup. So yeah, I know there's some people that have come and gone out of the band, which I totally get. That's what bands do. I was in one myself, so I know exactly what you mean, Mick. So I think this song does show a lot of promise. I feel like the vocals do need some tuning work. I think that, I think it could work depending on what it's being pitched for. Kind of like what I was saying with Tom's, I think this song could probably be geared more toward radio. The lyric is general enough that it could be certainly pitched for libraries, and it could be that, in a place in a library might be a really good other secondary type of option for it. It's enough of a general enough lyric that I really feel like it could work. I do think that the vocals do need some work, just some smoothing out, maybe some tuning. The thing that I like about the hook was I like the notes and the memorability of the hook. I think it's really good. What I'm missing is I feel like it needs to be bigger, like not even instrumentally bigger, but like more vocals. Like it needs to like take you up a notch emotionally when you get there. And I don't feel like it quite does that, but I think that what you have is excellent. it's sort of a little bit of a letdown for me from an emotional standpoint, because I want it to be bigger with more vocals going on there. Where the just during the chorus. The rest of it's fine. Let's see. Let me see if we can find it here.
Spring is
fine. We're gonna have the commercial. I think SoundCloud has doubled their amount of commercials since last month. Let's see.
So now you might fall as you get up fast. Don't let them see you crying. Take a change you know is going to last. Please be open-minded and then you can.
I don't think it's too wordy. I think that the lyrics you have here work. It's just that I would like to hear more vocals, like maybe more layers in the chorus. Here it comes.
Learn the lessons of the past. Have a little faith
but it's not like it's a little buried. So I guess maybe it could be somewhat of a mix issue. I think I would also either do some doubling or some other layers that would give people, you know, when they're listening, would give them more of a bite. It would jump out at them more as this is the main part of the song. Stand up and listen, you know. And that's kind of what I'm missing in this song. Is I feel like the chorus, even though it's good, it's not really, you know, it's just sort of flatlined versus raising up. And because, you know, it's like really good songs have a dynamic range, and I'm not talking about a technical like dynamic range like from soft to loud, but just an emotional dynamic range where, you know, I feel like it's a little bit of a letdown only from the standpoint of I feel like more things need to be going on during the chorus so it really brings it out, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Chat says, nice tune. I agree about the vocals. I like the laid-back vibe. Maybe the lyrics could have a few changes to be more on beat, but it's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where we might be able to, while mixing it, you could probably move things around just a tiny bit to put them just a little bit more in rhythm with what's going on. There were two of us double-tracked. Okay. Well, then, Mick, maybe it just needs to be brought out more. Maybe it's just, maybe it needs to have some slight tuning done and bring the volume of the vocals out more, just to give it a little bit more oomph there, you know? Yeah, Ron says, I meant brightening. Let's see here. Yeah. Pitch and brightening, but he understands where it could be. Yep, I understand. I get it. It doesn't build. Yeah, I feel like that's probably the main thing it's listening. If he just tuned it, brighten it, put the leads in more in the pocket and pulled the leads up front, it would make a difference, but a great tune. Yeah, I think so too. Ron's on point here, I think. I think that that does seem to be kind of the things that I would do. I think that if I were mixing it, I would definitely bring things out more, probably more of the drums and probably mix it more like a pop record. One of the tags I noticed you had on here was pop rock and reggae. Reggae I don't necessarily agree with, but definitely pop or rock, and I feel like it should probably be mixed like a pop or rock record and have the drums kind of up a little bit more than where they are. And so there, I feel like there's some mix issues here, but overall it's really good. I feel like it's an excellent start to a song, and to me, Mick, this is probably one of the better songs I've heard you guys do, and I mean that from a genuine standpoint of I feel like it's very commercial viable. You know, and you guys could probably pitch it for radio once you get a few of these little kinks worked out of it. You know, and it might be something that works well at radio. The tempo for me is a little bit of an issue just because, you know, my retail rotation clients tend to like faster songs than this. But it's one of those things we could pitch for satellite radio like a Sirius XM. We could pitch it for any of our libraries. I think it would probably go well with any of those. Global Music Production Catalog would be a good one. But I do think that some of the little bumps and hiccups need to be worked out before you do that, just so you're not spending money that you don't need to. I feel like I don't think I chose reggae. Probably autocorrect. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, autocorrect on your phone or whatever. But I do feel like it's close. It's getting there, and it's an excellent song. I just feel like it needs a few more tweaks, more on the technical side, getting those vocals kind of in the pocket just a little bit better and tuned. I think that's going to be pretty important as well. We did some tuning work on the one song that I mixed for you, and I feel like it turned out really well. And you know, the vocals were very much in the pocket and in tune and everything. And it wasn't major tuning; it was just some slight adjustments here and there. So overall, I feel like it's a really good track and just needs those few little tweaks, and you'd be good. So way to go, Mick. Good job. Good submission. We've got Pramila next. She's got I Know There's Magic in Here. And Pramila has submitted some songs before. I'm not sure, but I sort of think she may have done maybe a couple months ago, and I think there were songs with vocals, if I remember right. So let's listen to I Know There's Magic in Here. Here we go.
People I love sent from above and they crown me. How can I doubt with so many signs around? A force unseen connecting me to my highest. I pray, let go and believe that it won't let me down. So I'm taking my time to realign all of the faces in my mind. Down to the core, what I'm looking for is gonna bow down and bring me more, 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 more. I'm running out of time. The push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. The whole damn thing is one big dream that we're dreaming. If I stay awake and play the part that is mine, destiny will be calling me, I can feel it. I'm keeping my eyes open 'cause I'm gonna shine. I'm running out of time. The push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. Push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. So I'm taking my time to realign all of the faces in my mind. Down to the core, what I'm looking for is gonna bow down and bring me more. The push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. Push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. I know there's magic in here. I know there's magic in here. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here.
All right. Very cool track. Pramila, nice job. Excellent song. Yeah, Ron's saying, oh my gosh, this is such a great song. I really hear the potential. It just needs a professional mix and mastering would be there. Yeah, Ron, good point. I think that Pramila's got an excellent song here. I think it's certainly high energy, which is really good for the things that I'm pitching for most of the time. I could hear this one working with my retail rotation client. I think they would like this song. I would probably steer you towards that, and obviously any of the libraries that we have on Music Ops would be a good option as well. Global Music Production Catalog or the commercial library one would be good. Pitching toward production companies that work with companies that are making commercials. So I could see it working really well in a commercial or a TV show or a film, given the right circumstance, the right scene in whatever the film or the TV show is. It could certainly work there. You could almost see it as a end credit roll type thing, where the credits are rolling and you're hearing this song playing as the featured song in the film. So it definitely shows a lot of promise. I think it's really good. I think that the vocals and all of the different performances are really good. And I actually don't mind the mix at all. I think the mix is good. And Pramila, your vocals are good.
I'm running out.
I would lean toward probably doing a little bit different mastering on it. I feel like it needs more high end. I think it needs a little bit more punch, a little bit more volume overall, some what I would call impact. Now, you don't have to hire me to do it. I'm just saying I feel like mastering is probably the thing that it's missing. And you may have already had it, quote unquote, mastered. I don't know. I feel like it could be better, though, as far as that goes. And then I feel like then you're off to the races. You could start pitching it for different things once you have that little thing ironed out. But the song is really good. I agree with what Ron's saying. I think the song itself is really good. The hook is excellent, very memorable. And I think the mix is fine. I just would probably I would steer you toward mastering. That technical little tweak that we should probably have done on it before we really get into pitching it. But I feel like it could work in some different things. You could pitch it towards all kinds of different things. As far as, what I do, you could pitch it just about any of our opportunities, whether it's retail or like a Sirius XM satellite radio. You could pitch it. You could submit it towards any of our libraries, even our sports placement opportunities. This is something, if you think of it from the standpoint of, okay, like right now we're pitching to NBA and also the NHL, there's magic in here. I mean, think about how cool of a lyric that would be to the guys who are on the ice shooting the puck, and they want to win because they want to go to the next level in their series. They want to get to the next level of the playoffs or whatever. There's magic in here. I mean, that lyric is really, I'm sort of getting chills talking about it. That lyric to me works really well with sports. So I would probably steer you toward, not only the libraries and stuff, but sports television might be a really good place for this. But again, I would address the mastering issue just to give it a final tweak. I think if you don't do that, I still think it's probably something that could get picked up. So I'm not really even hinging everything I'm saying on do the mastering or it's never going to work. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if you do it, I think it'll be that much better. And people who have songs in a similar vein are going to have a little bit harder time competing with your song here if yours sounds better. And you already have a really cool title and a really cool hook that could work with certain things, I think. So well done, very good. I think it's one of those things that could certainly work in the right context for sure. And it definitely has some, she says yes, sports. It definitely has some really good potential and some really good possibilities. Mick says nice job. Ron says it had me dancing. Pramila says yes, sports. Thank you guys for listening and kind words. Yeah, it's really good. I think that I would certainly steer you towards sports. And I do a lot of sports pitches, as you guys know. I mean, I've done quite a few and had placements in NBA and just about all of the different ones. And we even do, some of the video games we work on are sports video games. So maybe, if we can't get you a placement in a sports television type of bumper situation where the song is used on TV, maybe it would work in a sports video game, and we do those. So, we have developers that will contact us, and they're working on a sports video game. I've done, different skateboarding video games and things like that, where a song like this that has a lot of energy and is general enough from a lyrical standpoint to work in a variety of different sports. You're not singing about a sport. That's one of the mistakes people make when they say, okay, I'm going to write a really cool song with tons of energy and I'm going to write it about basketball. So then they write a lyric about playing basketball. That's like a huge mistake because editors and and producers are not going to use a song that's about that particular sport, like literally driving a race car or literally playing basketball and throwing the football or whatever. Don't do it. It's a no-no. I mean, if you want to do it, that's fine from an artistic standpoint, totally fine. And you could probably pitch a song like that in a local situation where you approach a mom and pop sports merchandise show, or not show, but sports merchandise store in your area. So you got somebody that sells sports gear, and it's not like a big, like a big box store, like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something. Not them. I'm talking about a mom and pop sports store that sells different things. It could be memorabilia. It could be, different, like baseball bats and like equipment and stuff that's competing with the Dick's or some of those other sports companies, the big box stores. You're not probably going to get anywhere with a box store, but the local mom and pops, and this goes for anybody that has a song that could work in sports. You could pitch it to, you could do it yourself. Pitch it toward something like that, because those little mom and pops, they do advertising, whether it's on the web or maybe local TV or whatever. They might be able to use your song, and you can use that as a stepping stone to get to the next thing, to maybe get it into, like an NHL game or something like that. You can always, add that to your resume. So I think that's a good idea. But what I was saying, though, was about having a really super specific lyric about throwing a football. If you do that, that's fine. You could pitch it toward the mom and pop sports gear type of situations and maybe get a placement that way. But otherwise, you're not really going to get taken seriously, unfortunately, with getting a placement with the NBA or the NHL or Major League Baseball or the NFL. We pitch songs to these guys and we know what they're looking for, and it's never really ever about playing the actual sport. You want a song about energy or about feeling the vibe or about, the crowd, the roar of the crowd or whatever that's not specific on that. In music supervision, that's called being too on the nose. If it's too on the nose, it's too specific about a certain thing that when you put the music to picture, it makes it look cheesy, unfortunately. That's the only other word I can think of right offhand. But if you have a song about throwing the football and you actually put it underneath an NFL clip, it will look super cheesy. And, no editor that's working on the NFL stuff is going to use that. They'll just bypass it. They won't even listen to it, really, even based on the name of the song. And people make that mistake all the time. They'll write songs about doing specific sports, and they'll be like, oh, this will be perfect. And they name every single, major athlete in the NBA in their song. Well, those people aren't going to be stars even next year or 5 or 10 years from now. So it just doesn't work. So, too on the nose is one of those things that you just have to be really careful with. So, good job, Pramila. I like it. Let's see here. I just pitched it, but I want you to master it, and we'll do it again. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can certainly, submit it to any of our opportunities, and we will consider it and let you know at that point, which I've sort of already done just now, but we can wait for you to have the better version of your song that we're talking about. I could hear Pink singing this, Ron says. Yeah, yep, absolutely. It's got tons of energy. Let's jump around and listen to just a little bit more of it, and then we'll move on.
I stay awake and play the part that is mine. Destiny will be calling me, I can feel it. I'm keeping my eyes open, 'cause I'm gonna shine. I'm running out of time. The push and pull is trying to steal the moment. Feed my faith inside, I can't control it. Just for once I wanna set fire and burn the fear. I know there's magic in here. Push and pull is trying to steal the moment.
Yeah, there you go. Very cool. I know there's magic in here. So, yeah, Pramila, good job. Good job. Very good track. I feel like we could probably help you with that one. So definitely submit it, and we will go from there. But, yeah, excellent job. So let's see here. We've got one more for today. John Kelly Wilson, Tonight. Let's live for today. Now, John has got, I know, some really, really good songs. He generally tends to go more in the country style, which is totally fine. That's stuff that I do pitch. I've got clients who like upbeat country stuff for retail radio in particular, as well as, you know, the normal music libraries and so forth. Produced at a Writer's Paradise studio in Nashville. That's vocals with Mike Lusk. He's a guy that we've talked about before. Excellent studio session singer here in Nashville. Track is written in a contemporary country pop vibe about short-lived love in the past that's never forgotten. Hopeful yet melancholy feel. Maybe a versatile track for today's contemporary radio format. Could be played in certain pop, soft rock, and adult contemporary formats. Also maybe film and TV. All right, well, let's listen to John's track, and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Napa know-how.
Commercial first. Here we go, John.
Song about you, but nobody knows who you are. That's 'cause I keep what we had that night, all these years locked in my heart. You and I know this thing couldn't last long. That night would be our one-hit song. Came, we go our separate ways. So we both said tonight, let's live for today. I still remember your laugh, those beautiful eyes, and the funny way you twirled your hair. You telling me you're not into wine, so we bought us a 12-pack of beer. You and I know this thing couldn't last long. That night would be our one-hit song. 'Cause when the morning came, we'd go our separate ways. So we both said tonight, let's live for today. We all say we never do such a thing, but if only I had a dime for everyone lying. That moment of your life, you can still feel their touch, and remember so well how it made you feel inside. Could be a holiday, any day of the week, or just driving in my car. I think of you and I'm back to that night. Oh, it makes me start to smile. You and I know this thing couldn't last long. That night would be our one-hit song. 'Cause when the morning came, we'd go our separate ways. So we both said tonight, let's live for today. So we both said tonight, let's live for today. Hey, yeah. Let's live for today.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Very, very cool track. Nice. So all you guys that do country music out there, that is what you're competing against, right? Because now it said that it was kind of had a melancholy feeling. I guess it does, but it's not. I was envisioning more of a slower tempo, but it's really not. It's more kind of up tempo or mid tempo maybe, which makes it good for something that I feel like I could pitch. And man, Mike Lusk's vocals, how is he not a country music star? I don't get it. I mean, his vocals are so good. And John, I mean, you're finding the right people to work with, because Mike's vocals are excellent. And it just really gives it a final, polished, professional sound. And you guys that have been with me before know that I have stated this, and I still like to say it, and that is that we at Music Ops like to be able to mistake your songs, your music, and your recordings for major label quality. Now, that doesn't mean major label from a bad standpoint. It means from the quality standpoint. Pretty much anything that major labels put out, at least from a technical quality standpoint, and the performances are usually pretty darn good. So I feel like this song is right up there. It's one of those songs, if you heard it on the radio, you wouldn't know if it was on a major label or not. You couldn't really tell because it's that good. So, John, excellent work. I think that, what I would steer you toward on this would certainly be radio, Sirius XM. I could pitch it for retail. I would be totally fine pitching it for any of our retail rotation situations and for any of our libraries. I don't know of anything right offhand directly with a film or TV show that would work right now, but a library would love it. And I do think that, you have an option here that probably no one else that we talked about today has, and that this song, in my opinion, is one of those songs that if you get it to the right person, like I know you and I have been talking about Chris Keaton, if you get it to the right plugger, right song plugger, they may be able to get this song with a major artist who's already established. And I noticed some of your tags. You've got Luke Bryant, Thomas Rhett, Blake Shelton, Cole Swindell, Dierks Bentley, yep. So why not? I mean, this song could easily be one of those ones that gets recorded, gets cut by a major country singer, songwriter, star person, and I think this one is right up there quality-wise. I don't think really, as far as what I can offer you, I would suggest probably, with Music Ops, Broadjam. I think you submit on Broadjam. You could certainly send it to any of the retail radio ones, and I'll pitch it for you. I think that's a really good step. I would do what I could to help you with this one, but I would definitely steer you towards somebody like Chris or others who are actively finding songs to pitch to established artists, because this one, the quality's there. You guys heard it. I mean, it's an excellent song.
But if only I had a dime for everyone lying, that moment of your life you can still feel their touch, and remember so well how it made you feel inside. Could be a holiday any day of the week,
I mean, it just sounds like a hit song. It really does.
or just start to smile. You and I know this thing couldn't last long. That night would be our one hit song. 'Cause when the morning came, we could go our separate ways. So we both said tonight, let's live for the day. So we both said tonight, let's live for the day.
Yeah, excellent. Very, very cool. I like it. It's a really good track. I think that's borderline a really great song, and I would definitely pitch it for you. Retail radio, Sirius XM, any of our library opportunities would probably be good. Probably not so much, maybe the commercial library ones. I guess it could work in a commercial, just depending on the right product. But it's got pretty good energy. I feel like it could work with some of our more high energy type of opportunities. So just know that. Let me take a look at chat here. Yeah, very good groove. I like it. Love the song. Great potential. There were some spots that the music was much louder than the vocals. Okay. Promilla says, yeah, awesome. Ron says, I am really impressed with the level of talent today. Yeah, me too, Ron. Good point. Once again, I'm loving this song. The only thing I would do is bring the vocals up during the chorus, and so that the guitars don't overpower it. Thanks, Doug and everyone. Chris is pitching it. Okay, good. So you're already talking to Chris about this. For you guys that don't know, Chris Keaton is a friend of mine. He's a guy that I've known for quite a few years. Our kids actually used to go to the same school. I think his kids were a few years older, but I would run into him at school events and stuff, and come to find out he's a really well-known Nashville song plugger who knows like everybody in town. So Chris is a good guy. Chris Keaton, KEATON.com, for you guys who want to look at his website and get on his mailing list. He does. He's very active with his email mailing list, so I would suggest getting on there if you guys do country music. Now, Chris, I don't think Chris gets involved in other styles of music. As far as I know, he's pretty much country, but he's really good with that one thing. And I guess he and John are working together. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you could have the best song in the world, and still, if the right people don't hear it, it still goes nowhere, unfortunately. But you have to have step one, and that is have a great song, and you do. John, you really do here. So anyway, well done. Good job, you guys. Excellent submissions today. I will find a song to play us out here, and just feel free to look up our opportunities, Music Ops and Broad Jam, and look me up on my website if you want to, diamondiscaudio.com or dougdiamond.com. Either one gets you there. So anyways, thanks for joining me today, and we will see. This may be the last broadcast for a while. It just kind of depends on what I feel like the next step is. We did end up having 4 really great submissions today, which is excellent, and we still kept it to an hour and a half. So you know, it's still good. So I'm not going to completely rule out that we're not going to do it next month. Just stay tuned. You guys are all on the email list, so you'll know. You'll start getting the emails about a week out. I usually send them starting about a week from the broadcast. The next broadcast, if we do it next month, May, would be the last Sunday in May, which would be the 30th. So somewhere around the 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there, is when I would start sending emails out if I'm going to do another one. And we'll just see. But just know that I am available for private consultation. I may go that route just to kind of, you know, that way it'll be a little bit easier for people to go one-on-one and not have to, you know, submit and do a live stream kind of thing if they're not really interested. So I'm not real sure. So we'll just see how it plays out. But in either way, just know that you guys are all very, very talented, and you know, I'm going to do what I can to help you guys. And feel free to stay in touch with me through email. That's probably the best way. And keep submitting, because eventually we will get stuff placed for you guys. You guys all had something really positive and good to offer. And just know that I'm here if you have any questions. And feel free to look me up. And otherwise, we will see you next time, whenever that next time is. Just stay tuned, and I will be in touch as soon as possible. Let's find a song here and play us out. Speaking of sports, here, this is a guy that this song just recently got picked up by our the folks that do Fox Sports, the pitch songs for Fox Sports. They like this one. It's called "Go Get It." So let's check that out.
Everyone loves shopping
You
online.
just have to have the ads.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs.
Well, it just happens to be a sports ad. That's pretty funny. All right, let's listen to "Go Get It" by Twan B. See you guys next time. Take care.
Me and my team got moves to make. When you gonna apply that pressure, you thought you was safe. Anything we do from now on is not for sure. Better lock the door, cause you know we go. Grind, get up and go get it. Grind, get up and go get it. Get up and go get it. Get up and go get it. Grind, get up and go get it. Ready to get this started, get out my way, cause I got odds to beat. Told them I was gonna be a problem, but they didn't wanna listen, till it got hard to eat. Part of me gotta guard up, they gon' have to respect my artistry. Anytime I let up in the past, they try to say how strong my heart should be. Like you ain't this, you can't that, never quit work, so it all came back. I'm gassed up and the wheels ain't flat, I'ma roll to the top, my drive ain't matched. And you can't change facts, wanna win one, better gain traction. One track mind got me on the same track, no lacking. When I jump off, it's action. Gotta do my own thing, no disrespect to the way. But if I get locked inside of that box with y'all, then I'ma throw this hit away. I'm all about being different, got every sauce in the kitchen to go with my vision. It's all original, that is the mission, so unpredictable to competition. And I hope they listen. Me and my team got moves to make. We gonna apply that pressure you thought you was safe. Anything we do from now on is not for show. Better like it's go, cause you know we go. Grind, grind, get up and go get it. Grind, grind, get up and go get it. Get up and go get it. Get up and go get it. Grind, grind, get up and go get it. Grind so relentless and my hustle got no limits. I ain't begging for no blessing. I get up and go get it. I know they wanna stop me, they can't knock me off my pivot. I've been running digits up, look at how I'm living, yeah. And I've been on a mission, yeah. It ain't no competition here, it ain't no opposition safe, cause I'm who the opposition feel. Yeah, I put that pressure in their face, and apply the pressure on my peers. And they been hating all day, cause I've been shining all year. Hustle, I grind and hustle. You lazy, then you gonna struggle. I'm built for the tussle. I fought through the rain and mud and came out a little tougher for real. Cause I gotta win and I gotta come right back here and do it again. See, I'm trying to give me a dynasty and a big old case full of shiny things. Hustle, grind, yeah, I'm just trying to have the finer things. So I run harder, I shoot better, I drip water, I do better. Think you better than do better. Till then you just lose better. Until then it's pressure, pressure, pressure. Me and my team got moves to make. We gonna apply that pressure you thought you was safe. Anything we do from now on is not for show. Better lock the door, cause you know we go. Grind, grind, get up and go get it. Grind, grind, get up and go get it.